Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Brightworks and what I'm sure is going to be quite a bizarre matchup beyond all reason. Today, spawning on the southern side of the blue team, representing, well, the blue team on all, no, sorry, not all that glitters, Flats and Forest. I have a couple of replays, and that's one of them, so I guess it's been on my mind. We've got Avenger K. Now, before I zoom out here, well, I guess I'll just give you a slow reveal as we realize exactly why this match is going to be such a bizarre one. Yes, indeed, this is a completely imbalanced game. So I thought this would be a pretty funky one to cast. This was sent on over by Hornet, and I'm glad it was because, yeah, these are always some really interesting ones to take a look at here. So representing the red team, one of four players playing on the red team right here. Coming in from Germany and spawning is a Cortex Commander right here. It's going to be Narnuk. Yeah, this should be pretty interesting. Now, you might also notice over here on the right-hand side, each of these players here on the red team has a 25% metal advantage. So essentially what that means, well, actually, it's just a 25% resource advantage. So everything they pull in, whether it's metal, whether it's energy, whether it's anything at all, it's all going to be boosted by an extra 0.25. What does that mean? Well, it means that these commanders are going to have a whole lot more resource at their disposal. However, obviously, they're still limited by their own individual APMs as well as their unit limitations up here. So it should be pretty interesting to see what they can come up with. How many players do we have on the blue team? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 players on the blue team here. A 12 versus 4. Might even just use that as the screenshot right there. Use that to showcase this match here. Now, obviously, there's some really cheesy strategies you could do to win this match immediately. Calm bombing, for instance, would be one of them. You just pick up a couple of transports, move them over in airplanes here, and you basically blow up these commanders. And there's not really anything that you can do about that when you only have 4 commanders versus 12. So I'm assuming there must have been some sort of gentleman's agreement, or maybe just the red players hoping that that's not the case, because a lot of them aren't going for air. I would definitely go for at least a single anti-air tower, maybe 2 of them, just to make sure that we can shoot down transports in in time here. Getting all teared up watching this aggro. They grow up so fast. Blitz already moving across the map here. Kills a couple of rovers, but I think Classic is probably going to be pretty happy with that trade. Taking down the enemy aggression right there for a couple of rovers. Yeah, pretty efficient trade, all things considered. Units out on the field already here. I'm surprised actually with, I mean, there's a lot of aggression out already, but I'm surprised we're actually not seeing a whole lot more. I think another effective strategy here would be essentially for everybody to just make as many T1 units as humanly possible and just go for all-out warfare across the map. A lot of static defenses coming up. Narnuk going for some static defense as well as Dujavi. I think that probably makes a lot of sense, especially on these unequal footings right here. It makes a whole lot of sense to go for those static defense because obviously they can passively defend things, and you don't have to expend your APM in order to, yeah, keep your units alive over here. Nice little protectorate of forces, keeping everything safe over here for the red players' expander, the construction bot, T1 construction bot, putting together some metal extractors over here and making sure that the yeah, none of it goes down too easily. A couple of ticks coming in for the snipe though. Oh, that's quite nice. Yeah, those ticks managed to shut down that metal extractor just as it came up to speed. Narnuk slacking on the job for just a millisecond there, but it does mean those ticks going to be able to snag a kill right there, and that's annoying. It's really annoying for that red commander who, yeah, I mean, is gonna have to go for quite a bit of expansion all at once right here. Aeon Spy, the hot pink commander, gonna be up on this side. Does go for an anti-air defense, by the way, that Nettle, the light anti-air tower. Yeah, it looks like every commander basically got one of those up. Okay, so maybe no agreement was made as far as comm bombing goes. They were just not super worried about it right off the start here. Actually, no air player whatsoever, it looks like. Oh, actually, I take that back. Retich Man, our blue player here. 9 true skill, 3 chevron count. Building up some of those airplanes right now, trying to at the very least. Yeah, airplanes would definitely be worth quite a lot here. You can imagine a bombing run coming across the face right here of any of these commanders, shutting down their economy. It's going to open up a whole lot of issues for the red team to deal with. Narnuk expanding quite aggressively here, but I think that's probably necessary. Yeah, starts up some build power. A 25% increase doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it really is, especially if you spread that over the course of several metal extractors all over the place. You can see Narnuk now up to 18 metal per second, basically about double the starting economy that you get on most maps. Usually you start out with about 8 or so. 8 to 10, I feel like is pretty common. LOT does go down right there. Nice little pick off. More than enough grunts right here for Space Monster. However, running low on energy right now. Unfortunate. Not going to be able to fire those grunts. They do take laser, or they do fire little lasers, so they do take some energy in order to actually use properly. Very tricky. Also had some complaints about the audio. I shouldn't say complaints. I've had some feedback about the audio being a little low. So I'm going to adjust that upwards. Hopefully it's not overbearing. Feel free to let me know how you feel about that down below. Always tweaking and always improving. Don't want to get stuck in my ways. If there's a better way to make Beyond All Reason content, then I'm going to take advantage of whatever it is. One of the other things I realized was there's a little button that I can turn on that enables ads in the middle of the video, and I hadn't realized that they had switched that to be a setting that was on by default. So yeah, if there have been more ads than usual in the video, I realized that yeah, that had accidentally been toggled on there. So I'll have that switched off. Let me know. I don't know if you'll see more or less. I have no idea how much that actually impacts. For all the statistics I actually get access to behind the scenes, sometimes it can just be. Yeah, it can still leave a little more for want. Little pawn run by over on this side here. Reflection going for a little bit of a run by. There is a commander trade, goes down right here. Aeon Spy loses the commander, gives it over to Space Monster, who also lost the commander right there. Pretty much even trade, no units on either side in order to clean all that up. These pawns definitely hurt a lot. Yeah, they're taking down a tremendous amount of the energy economy right here for Aeon Spy. Get some Janices out, and those are going to be able to clean all that up. But man, if that damage doesn't hurt quite a lot to see right there. Yeah, we're going to need to see some reclaim here. I think you can probably get back into this match by reclaiming these forests. Probably going to be quite valuable. Single little blitz tank on a warpath. Yeah, we'll encounter some eco that's coming up right here for a venture case. So that's always quite nice. We'll have to see how much work it can actually do. There's also other units all over the place. There's another blitz. Finds the air player, and that's actually really annoying. Yeah, the air player being harassed by the blitz right here. Oh, can we kill the constructor? Oh, we do kill the constructor. That's expensive. Very difficult for air players to rebuild those. Very annoying. Yeah, nice little bit of counterattack damage. Forcing the blue players backwards onto their back feet, trying to get them back into their shells here, make sure that they can't really be as aggressive as I'm sure they would want to. Nice D-gun right there from Classic, catches that tank lacking out there. Critical energy shortages all around right here. However, with these T1 solar panels receiving 25% more energy per, they're actually not terrible. Yeah, you're gonna get what would 25% of 20 be? I don't know. Never do math live in a video. That's the #1 golden rule. Not trying to break it today. Yeah, this blitz, man. How many kills does that have? 6 kills to its name, and I feel like most of those have been metal extractors and maybe some constructors and bots and all sorts of other valuable targets right here. This is a hero blitz making its way into the backline and shutting down so much of the economy for the dark blue player. Not quite the dark blue. It's almost like a navy blue player, maybe. Although gelatin is much more of a navy blue here, so maybe like oh, I'm not sure. That's a tricky color. Let me know what you think that color is down below. I always love to see people that just they only comment the color. Everyone else is very confused. What on earth are these people talking about? Trying to help me out. Help me diagnose the colors here. LLTs whittling down some of these tanks right here. Janus tank as well as a medium tank, both of which blasted apart by the laser fire, as well as the thugs being pumped out from this base. Those whistlers, however, will have no trouble taking out all that static defense here as they slowly encroach upon this forward production facility. Not the end of the world to lose that base right there for Gelatin, but certainly going to be going to put him on the back foot here. Loads of thugs, loads of aggravators, massive army right here for the red player, trying to help out, fend off some of the aggression over here, force back the opponent. Yeah, that's a lot of incisors and medium tanks, though. There's just so much HP on those that you can't really deal with them efficiently here. Once again, tearing through the economy for the hot pink player. Definitely looking like a exploitable weakness right now for the red team. Yeah, or well, for the blue team to take advantage of. Nice positioning on these bots over here, at the very least, making it a whole lot more amicable for the pink player to try and hold on to this, but these incisors are not done yet. They find all of this economy in the backline. Oh, they're slacking on the APM right there, but if they move forward, that's definitely 3 dead metal extractors as well as a constructor and some other stuff as well. They're going to find the economies for the yellow player. This is starting to hurt quite a lot. Yeah, you can tell the APM is definitely being taxed to the absolute max right now for everybody on the red team. Nice little catch over here. These thugs overpowering the cyan player are going to overwhelm this base, shut down the lab, and blast apart all those metal extractors, wind turbines, and solar panels. An excellent little pick right there, but we have to get some resbots out and eating up all that metal. The resbots are available, and they're going to start picking all that up. Wouldn't mind seeing resurrects either. On a match like this, where you just need absolute volume of units on the field right here, wouldn't mind seeing resbots going and resurrecting as much of this as humanly possible. Looks like those incisors did manage to make it into the eco back here, as well as some units aggressing from the green player, pushing into the main base of the yellow. However, LLTs will clean up the majority of those pawns. Nicely done here. Red team showing a tremendous level of cooperation, and I really love to see it. Oftentimes, it's one of those things that we can lack a whole lot of when we're looking at some of those games on lower skill levels. And I certainly feel like I'm seeing it here too. Excellent teamwork up on the northern side. Definitely have seen some green and blue and powder green players pushing together here in tandem. But definitely you can tell the red team is just perfectly in sync with each other, and they're playing like an absolute unit. More and more of these thugs pushing forward. Very easy to get overwhelmed by the thugs here. They can just put out enough firepower, and you can produce them in such mass that it's really easy for those to overwhelm people. T2 Lab has been up, by the way, by Dujavi down on the southern side, who's gone for that. T2 Laboratory already has the T2 Constructor building a whole bunch of T2 metal extractors. It's going to be a tremendous advantage, and it's the kind of advantage you need if you're going to stick into a game against, well, 4 other economies, right? 4 other economies, but also 4 times the amount of actions per minute being pumped into armies, being microed and controlled and otherwise persuaded to fight against you all across the map right here. Nice retreat right here. Very, very well done. Wouldn't even mind seeing the commander sacrificed at this point, using the orange commander to blow up a whole lot of those tanks, but it looks like that's not the plan here. We're going to stand our ground and fight the battle. I'm not sure if it's worth it right now, although every time those Janices fire, they do get more and more value. And you know what? This is still a tremendously even fight. I gotta say, with the resource production bonus right now, and especially if we start pumping out maybe some lightning tanks, help out with the just contributing a significant amount of firepower. If we could degun down those tanks right there, that would be huge. Could certainly equalize this battle right now. Yeah, Dujavi realizes he's just got to wait for some of these tanks to come out. Once the T2 tanks hit the battlefield, he's going to have a tremendous advantage. Excellent retreat right there, using that positional advantage and collapsing inward towards the T2 advantage that he's just about to put on the field. First bull hits the field, and it's going to help shut down a lot of these medium tanks right there. You can see just how much damage that thing can do. It's like 15 to 20% of a medium tank's HP. Yeah, a whole bunch of these Rocketeers going to be forfeit as well. That bull going to be more than enough to blast those to smithereens. A couple of Janices over here as well. Very nicely done. This red army is not done yet. Fufupoya, a little bit of trouble here. Aggravators marching inwards. After watching that mod with the Rocketeers and the Aggravators firing their rockets so much quicker, it's almost hard to go back to these ones. They just feel like they fire through molasses. Commander goes down right there, and the lab is essentially, well, the production center entirely, but especially the lab, shut down without a trace. That's going to be one more base wiped off the map right here. Fufupoya definitely going to be forced to retreat and lean on his teammates over here. Now, T2 Lab is up and running. There's Fiends ready to hit the battlefield. Fiends will run their way through this entire T1 army in no time at all, but the res bots are already eating up a whole bunch of that metal. We need to see a T2 economy start up just about as quickly as possible here. We have the T2 metal extractors coming up. We have the T2 production centers. We have T2 everything. But if that fusion reactor doesn't start up pretty soon, that metal is essentially just going to be wasted here. Massive army collapses on the northern side. Classic calls out that he's fully dead, and I would probably agree. That's enough medium tanks to blast through every bit of defense that he has up there. Nicely done. Good bit of teamwork right there by Reflection, as well as Sotairu. Hopefully I pronounced that reasonably well. Oftentimes the answer to that question is no. But, you know, a boy can dream. This looks terrible for our yellow commander. Gonna have to rely on the generosity of some teammates here. Can these bulls be efficient enough to bring this back to the game? The answer is absolutely. They certainly can be. You just have to use them correctly, and it looks like this is a pretty solid fight for them. Would love to see them microed here. They are very expensive. You almost want to treat bulls like a T3 unit. Same way you would respect a Marauder, you want to respect a bull. Very, very powerful. Huge DPS. The only reason they're not a T3 unit is just because of how slow they are. If they were a little bit faster, full-blown T3 unit. Absolutely. Dujavi doing a great job of using all that metal from the units that he killed slowly but surely as he retreated off that front line and turning it into more efficient T2 units. Absolutely wonderful right there. Rattlesnake in the base for base defense. Love that. Would love to see some beamer turrets as well. Beamer turrets can cut down even some of those stronger T2 units, but these bulls are on a rampage right now. Gonna cut through this southern section. This is all just T1, and that's gonna be not even enough. Going to be wiped out here as well. Yeah, nicely done right there. T2 is coming up. We do have Recluses and Hounds being pumped out right here, but they're going to struggle against those T2 vehicles. We need some sort of EMP, or we need some sort of, yeah, just a really thick armor response here. Sharpshooters could work as well. Welders wouldn't be the worst option. Hounds and Recluses, though, going to definitely struggle against those tanks. They're just too mobile. Now the forces have trickled on down to the southern side here, and you can see that even with those T2 vehicles, these medium tanks are tricky to clean up. they take enough, or they do enough damage, that is, the lightning tanks, that they're going to be able to clean all this up eventually, but eventually is after those tanks, rather, have pushed all the way into the base right here for the hot pink player Aeon Spy. Finally, the last of those medium tanks goes down, but man, what a wreckage field right here. Reflection doing a great job of containing all of this. Would love to see these metal extractors taken right now. We're reclaiming with the commander, but I think capturing all these metal extractors would be the tremendous benefit that the green commander needs in order to keep pumping out units. That being said, it's not like unit production has been halted over here. We have a fusion reactor that's being built now, but there's tons and tons of reinforcements getting ready to hit the front lines. This is a nice snipe over here, though. Yeah, those bulls weren't done fighting yet, and they've gotten all the efficiency that they need to. Taking out these advanced solar panels right here, cutting down the energy production like crazy. It's going to be pretty difficult for clamps here to hold on. That being said, Recluse is definitely quite powerful. Medium tanks, sturdy enough that they can still fight back against those bulls. It's just not a very comfortable fight. Ah, you know what? Maybe I spoke too soon. Looks like Clamps does actually manage to hold there in the end. A lot of friendly fire. Is that a... Oh yeah, it is a salamander. Okay, so we have the experiment, or not experimental, we have the test candidate units as well, which means we have the printer, one of my favorite units currently available. Looks like we're just throwing away T1 units, trying to send them around the map and see if they can do any damage here. We're well into the T2 era, and at this point, constructors have been handed over here to the yellow player. Love to see that. A little bit of teamwork there. Gonna mean that the yellow player is able to come back into this game here. Classic. Gonna be trying to rebuild. Oh, Tiger Tank's running into a Twilight. Ooh, if it pops. Well, EMP'd more friendly units than enemy units right here. A lot of Twilights out on the field, but I actually quite like it. It does make it so that Aeon Spy's field looks a little bit less contested than it actually is. Losing a lot of these fiends to the Tigers, though. Excellent control right there by Slithery Snake. Love the names in this game. I feel like we have a lot of really good names on this one. Yeah, Recluses, they're kind of hit and miss. Literally, they sometimes they hit and sometimes they miss. And it feels like more often than not, it's a miss. If you can catch those units at just the right timing, though, you can certainly blast them to smithereens. Those rockets are no joke. Hound's also firing away from long range. One thing that the Recluses have to their benefit is a tremendous line of sight range. They have a line of sight of 440, which I guess is not that much longer than the Hounds. For some reason, I thought it was a whole lot more than the Hounds, but I guess not. They tend to be able to siege really effectively, I suppose, just because their range lines up with their vision. Makes them very predictable, to say the very least. Fiends washing over in flame, a couple of sumos that are produced over here. Typically, sumos would be the ideal counter to this sort of a composition. However, without the energy to fire their forward-facing snuzzle cannons, yeah, that's not going to come up right here. Nice circular little wind turbine field over here. That's lovely. EMP bombers to the rescue here. Oh, to the... EMP bombers to the rescue here. EMP bombers slacking on the job a little bit, I have to say. There we go. Finally, they come across the face of this fiend army that's pushing into the middle of the purple base here. I think with the assistance of those EMP bombers, this will be cleaned up eventually. But still a nice bit of damage right there from the red player. Doing an excellent job of spreading the forces all around the map right now. Going for another fusion reactor. Gotta remember, these are producing a little bit extra energy per fusion reactor, so they're actually more efficient than normal. It means that you can go to slightly higher economy off of slightly lower production. Right now, Marauders are coming out, actually, and yeah, you know what? With that many advanced metal extractors pumping out, well, 1.25x resources, yeah, Marauders actually make a whole lot of sense. They're cheap enough that you can mass produce them, not super quickly, but quick enough here. They only cost about 1,000 metal, and if you're producing 140-ish metal per second, yeah, you're gonna have more than enough to pump some of those bad boys out. They're gonna be uncomfortable to fight on the front lines here. EMP Bomber's definitely a good option against them, though. Yeah. Excellent connections right there with those EMP bombers, but the army's a little bit distracted with some bulls that were running by on this right-hand side. Bulls do connect with a whole bunch of recluses, lots of friendly fire there as well. Excellent distraction. EMP bombers doing the very most to yeah, keep all this safe here, but definitely not going to be able to shut these down forever. Little anti-air missile on those Marauders eventually whittles down those EMP bombers. Some Hounds that we're looking to get aggressive on this side will be cleaned up nicely. We've got some Bulls ready to clean all of those up, as well as some Grunts there for light laser support. Always lovely to see. T1 Spamulatory coming up here for Classic. Decides that's probably the most efficient way to contribute towards this fight right here. I don't think it's a bad idea necessarily. Would love to see some economy shared over, maybe getting some of these metal extractors and handing them over to the yellow player just to make sure that those can be reclaimed over here. We could also send some units up north here. These were actually never claimed by the blue team, these northern metal extractors, so we could go reclaim all that and be a tremendous input of metal. Marauder realizing they can just run on by over here. There is another EMP bomber coming in. Only gets one of those Marauder though. Takes a heavy blow on its nose too for those Marauder anti-air missiles. Nice. Marauder shoot it down. Uh-oh. Yeah, Marauder being split up here. Nice splits. Important that you do that. Otherwise, yeah, EMP bomber gonna shut you down pretty brutally. Splits on the Marauders are good though, and I think it means that this base is in a whole lot of trouble. Avenger K definitely looking like things are, well, gonna need to be avenged. There goes that beautiful circular windmill farm. What a bummer. That thing was beautiful, to say the very least. Satisfying to watch it go, but painful, certainly, for the blue commander who now has to deal with all that. Missile truck over here, firing away. Having a jolly old time. Love to see Marauder pulled off. There we go. We do have a Marauder pulled off. Sent over in that direction. Don't clip that, by the way. Front line looking pretty solid, however, with no energy production right now for... Where are these units coming from, by the way? Who is this color? Not even enough. Oh, they're just being handed over. I see what's happening. So we're handing out units right here, but the units can't fire without energy production. That's funny. Yeah, those Sumo's completely useless as soon as they're handed over because there's no energy production whatsoever. Sheldon over here meant to break this big line of units that are sieging. There's a bunch of banishers though. Those are tricky to push into because they do so much damage if they catch you lacking. Big field of grunts as well, offering a tremendous amount of vision. There's a lot of ticks out as well. Excellent scouting right here by the hot pink commander, and excellently done by the yellow commander as well, getting back into this game. We do have a T2 lab up and running now. At this point, the metal income is 8 for the yellow commander, so I'd love to see some resources shared over in that direction. But we can always, again, go for these metal extractors up here. It looks like we're building more and more Twilights, which is always cool to see. Makes it look like you have less of an advantage and can sometimes play some mind games on the enemy. That's a impressive LLT wall over there. Not gonna save you though. Hounds will do the job though. Losing all this economy back here really burns. Yeah, basically the entire blue base has been ravaged right here by these Marauders. These early T3 that came out. I think the tempo of these T3 definitely caught the blue team off guard here. They didn't realize they'd be out, well, essentially 25% faster, huh? Spybots being used to EMP as much of this army as possible. Love to see it. There are a couple of bulls that are up now, pit bulls rather, that are up now. Gonna be great for dealing with a whole lot of this stuff. Oh, Spybot mismicroed there just a little bit. Does reveal itself prematurely. Gotta kite with those Sheldon, make sure that they don't have problems. There we go. Nice Spybot connection right there. Shuts off a tremendous portion of this army. I still think there's probably enough tanks to push in here, but it's really uncomfortable to do so with those Sheldon kiting backwards. You're never sure if you're going to be running into, yeah, a bigger force than you actually bargained for. Can definitely be an issue. A couple of Fiends pushing forward. There are some of those Starlights, those mobile tachyon weapons firing away. They'll blast down a whole bunch of those. Those coupled with the lightning cannons buried in the walls over there definitely going to be enough to shut down that aggression. Love to see that we're aggressing though, regardless. Maybe going for a tremendous eco wouldn't be the worst idea here as the yellow player, just going into some sort of crazy economy. Looks like that's what the plan is here for Narnuk, who does have a T3 lab. Oh no. T3 lab blocked by a single thistle right here, blocking the exit way so the Shiva can't get out. There we go. Luckily we noticed. That could be a huge problem. You queue up T3 units and expect to be able to, yeah, well, hold your defenses sturdily. Suddenly you realize, wait a second, my entire production queue has been halted for some reason. Oh, it's a single anti-air tower. Yeah, that'll do it. You gotta be careful. Oh, was that a nuclear missile? It looks like a nuclear missile did connect with Aeon Spy. I missed it because I was looking down south at those T3 Marauder coming out, but a nuclear missile connects with the majority of the base right here for Aeon Spy. That hurts quite a lot. T3 is out, but it's going to do more friendly fire than anything else. Oh, there go all the energy converters. It's going to chain react the build power down as well. Ooh, that starts to hurt. Are these Shiva going to be enough? They're powerful, but they don't fire very quickly, and they have a really hard time dealing with spam like this. I don't think it's enough. Yeah, these units do break into the back line. They find the T2 economy, advanced fusion reactors, all that good stuff. We're eating them up slowly but surely with what build power remains over here. We need LLTs, basically. We need a whole bunch of LLTs, maybe some twin guards as well. Anything to clean up these spam of units where the Shiva are just shooting themselves in the feet. Always a bit of a tricky thing to deal with as a Cortex commander, trying to figure out how much of what units you should actually go for. This is quite nice with the T2 and the T1 gantry both producing over here. A single tick makes it through, at the very least getting a nice little scout off on this area. Finds the anti-nuke over here as well. Who launched that nuke over here? Let me take a look. I don't see the nuclear chamber. Yeah, I don't see who launched the nuke over here. Maybe they've eaten it up already. Oh, there it is. There's another one. Rising into the sky. Looks like it was Reflection sending those nukes on across up into the air, but there is an anti-nuke available to shoot it down, and down goes the nuclear missile over here, keeping the orange player safe. Nicely done. Remembering your anti-nukes. One of my biggest weaknesses as a player. These cloaked metal extractors are actually providing a tremendous benefit right now to Aeon Spy. You can just go retreat to any corner, and it doesn't look like they have any economy whatsoever, but there is actually a nice sturdy economy up and available. Marauder running across the map over here. They're going to find T3 units of the blue teams, but that's just 2 Shiva, and they're going to, well, depends if these Marauder are clumped up still. If the Marauder unclump themselves and get a nice little surround, they'll have a field day taking all those down. Nice EMP bombers as well, though. Oh, those EMP bombers are nice. Yeah, Marauder now stuck in their pose. Those Shiva are going to have a wonderful time tearing all that apart now. That's a lot of dead T3 for the orange player. Can't be feeling great about that engagement. Fighters are pulled in order to deal with all this. Yeah, those T1 fighters are going to struggle against the T2, but it's not going to matter. There's no fighters available right here for the blue player. Wards off those EMP bombers at the very least. As Marauder are not feeling themselves all together yet. They're still recuperating, but they're still moving across the map over here. Nicely done. This force was dealt with from the purple player over here. There was Mauser and Pulsar and Starlights, oh my. Units all over the place being EMP'd down as they discover more and more of these Twilights. It's pretty funny. You can see them all stunned where the metal extractors stand. Demon has been produced and is now cranking out fuel across the entire map here, pumping out flames. Doing its very best. Couple of Marauder here and there, still in a warpath though. Couple of them. Mammoths and Shiva is a pretty devastating combination. Those Mammoths perfect for dealing with a whole bunch of spam, and the Shiva obviously very good at dealing with some of these heavier units. Not excellent against the Marauder though. Yeah, a lot of those shots actually miss right there. That's interesting to note. Mammoth's going to be decent against Shiva or Marauder as well here actually. Yeah. You know what? Cleaning up those Marauder quite nicely. I think the Mammoth might be the sharpshooter alternative to the to Cortex. Feels a bit weird to say, but it seems like they fill the same role as a sort of rudimentary T3 cleanup, a slightly less efficient T3 cleanup crew. Building some static defense over here, don't mind that whatsoever. Important to keep ecoing right now. I think Dujavi could definitely benefit from going for a little bit more economy right now. Getting maybe another advanced fusion reactor, another couple of energy converters, just making sure that all of that resource is being used efficiently. With 25% more resources, everything that you build is going to be 25% more efficient, right? So you might as well go for a little bit more greed when you have some sort of an advantage like all these T3 units on the field. There are Vanguard coming out. There's also a Razorback in production right now. I think varying the forces here is quite nice. Would love to see a T3 constructor, or T2 Cortex constructor rather, handed over here so that we can build multiple types of units here. Going for Karganeth alongside Shiva. Or rather, going for Karganeth alongside Titans, that's the one I'm thinking of. Can definitely be a very powerful combination. What's going on over here? Oh, EMP this. They're trying to EMP the anti-nuke over here. Not a bad idea. There's not tremendous anti-air coverage. Could certainly work. A lot of EMP bombers in the air. Yeah, actually, that's a tremendous amount of EMP bombers. We're looking at 25 in total. And they're moving across the map over here. Oh, they're not attack commanded, though. Oh, they're trying. Okay, they do get the anti-nuke. Well, more or less. Yeah, there we go. Paralyzed for 8 seconds or so. These ones are fight commanded, which means they're not really going to do the right job. The anti-nuke is paralyzed, though. Uh-oh. Is the nuclear missile up? It's firing right now. Nuclear missile up in the air. Need more EMP bombers. Shutting it down. Yep, it's EMP'd again. Nuclear missile. Oh, are we firing it? Where's it going? I saw the chamber opening up here. Did we stop the firing of it? Okay, there we go. It's targeted directly in the middle of this base. For some reason or another, we didn't fire it. Maybe waiting for the EMP to connect. Missiles up in the air right now. Red player EMP'd with no anti-nuke missile. Uh-oh. Oh, it fires. It's too late though. It's way too late, and boom goes the red base. Excellent snipe right there. Wonderful teamwork for the blue team. They send those. Oh wow, look at that. It's going in a circle. Is it just gonna do infinite circles? Oh no, it will crash into a whole bunch of grunts over here. Beautiful teamwork right there by the blue team, realizing that if they use their EMP bombers and use their nuclear missile launcher, they can make a play happen. And they managed to snatch victory here from what otherwise looked like a tremendous hold from the red team. They were really pushing back with their T3 forces. Excellently done right there. Love these asymmetrical matches. They definitely make for some interesting stuff to watch, and you can let me know how you feel about it down in the comment section down below. But I sure hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the very next Beyond All Reason video. Peace out, folks.